Hey y'all, welcome to Jesse Johnson Coaching. We're going live today. We're so excited to be here. When I say we, I do actually mean me plus my whole team. Just major shout out right now to everyone who has helped make this possible. You guys are amazing. Those of you that don't know me, I'm Jesse Johnson, and today I'm going to be talking, teaching, and answering questions about attracting your ideal client with ease, grace, joy, fun. Okay, this whole process should be really, really playful for you. It should be really expansive for you. It should be really joyful for you. So we're going to talk about a couple things. First, how to identify your ideal client. Second, ways to fill your business with those clients so that you love your day-to-day life because you're working with people that you really enjoy. And when to say no to people who actually aren't your ideal clients, right? That's so important. So, and there's a little extra piece that we're going to talk about at the end. I'm going to give away a free tool for you guys. So stay tuned the whole time. Plus today, because we're meeting in real time, you guys can ask questions in real time and I can answer them. So this should be like this is a huge, huge gift. Take advantage, ask all the questions that you have. Anything that I'm saying that doesn't make 100% sense, I can say it 10 different ways, okay? So keep asking whatever questions you've got. The one thing that I'm going to add in here as we begin is that the reason that I have this channel, the reason that I'm here doing this at all, is because I am here to support the transformation and integration of money on the planet, right? The whole old story that money isn't spiritual, that actually we should have less, the less we have, the more spiritual we are. I'm here to help you debunk that. Not necessarily that you go the opposite direction, but that you claim all of what you want. And so when you think about your ideal clients, that is part of your, this is the first step in the process in many ways, because your ideal client is who brought you into your service in the first place, right? Your ideal client should be the source of your inspiration. They should be the person or community that you wake up thinking about in the morning, right? The people that you want to help, the people that you want to improve their lives. So give me a shout out, give me a high five or a smiley face if you have the desire to serve right now. If you have the desire to bring love, joy, transformation to people that are here in the world, right? Give me a shout out. Let me know you're here. Your ideal clients, those of you that are here watching live and those of you that are watching the replay, you will see different people, right? You are not all here to help the same person, which is a good thing, right? There's 8 billion people on the planet almost. They all need support. They all need help. So hopefully, anyway, we're not all trying to help the same 8 people. We're all here trying to help our own communities, right? And this is not something, this is very important. Your ideal client is not something you have to figure out. It's not something that you have to problem solve around. It's someone that you know already, right? It's literally the reason that you're already doing what you do, or that you feel that inspiration to do something new, to start your own business, or start a new healing practice, or begin coaching at a higher level, right? The reason that you want to do that is because at some level you can feel that you're here to help. So who are you here to help, Priya, Scott, and Cassandra? Right? What are their qualities? What matters to them? Why do they matter to you? What do you love about them? What do you appreciate about them? What do you have compassion for? Not pity, this is very important, but compassion. Those of you that are just joining, we're talking about ideal clients. They are the name of the game, people. They're what brought you into this particular aspect of your incarnation. So again, I want you to approach this not from, I got to figure it out, who are they? But feeling the truth of what you already know. You already know who they are. In fact, you already probably are surrounded by them. And I'll just use myself as an example. Before I started my business, I was doing two things primarily. I was working with lots and lots of math teachers, and sometimes other teachers, and sometimes principals, all over New York City public schools. And at the same time, I was building spiritual community, what we called tribe, in conscious music and art events. So substance-free parties with phenomenal DJs and paper on the walls that got people like literally graffiti in the space, okay? Both communities were service-oriented. Both communities were absolutely dedicated to helping improve the world. Both communities had a scarcity mindset, and both communities were used to martyring themselves. They did it in different ways, but they were both doing that. Hi, Sunny. I love you. So for me, it took this, I was doing this for years. I was in New York City public schools for almost 12 years before realizing, oh, I'm here to help these people with something else. What is that thing? And when I kind of landed on my business, truly, it was the synergy of these two communities that guided me, that I wanted to help bring the excellence and integrity and work ethic, right? That high standard from academia, bring it into the spiritual community. I wanted to bring the transformational lens and heart-centered focus and generosity of the spiritual community into the world of education. And I didn't know this at the time, right? It kind of emerged over time. And this is an important piece for you to understand also. I know I'm going really fast. I'm so excited about this topic. Initially, that was my ideal client, what I just said. And then as I started to work with my ideal client, I started to work with teachers and work with spiritual folks in the context of helping them lead retreats, build businesses, right? Like transform their lives, live the lives that they really wanted. It was a little bit abstract to me at the time. That very quickly shifted into helping them bring in money from a place of integrity, from a place of ease, from a place of joy and service, because that was the area where everyone was a little lost, right? And so I'm sharing that because I want you to understand that your ideal client is going to transform, just like your actual clients are going to transform, right? You'll do some work with them. They'll have a problem. They'll figure out how to solve it. Then they'll have a new problem, right? So it's okay. In fact, it's essential that you think of your ideal client as an evolving human being, right? They don't have to be fixed. I just want you guys to just weigh in right now. Like, what are the things that you really love about the person that you want to help? What are the things that you love about them? Because this is also important. If you choose, so again, I'll use myself as an example. I can help all kinds of people make money, but I won't always enjoy it, right? Because I want to enjoy my life. It's really important that I choose to work with people that I truly believe in, that I truly care about. I believe in their mission. I believe that they can and will do the work, right? And I want them to succeed. I genuinely hope and pray and wake up in the morning fantasizing about their success. Okay, this is very important. Reminder again, because it's this important and we forget, you do not have to figure this out. You know it already. You know your ideal client's characteristics. You may not have named them or written them down. And if not, then that's something for you to do now. If you already have some kind of list of the features and qualities of your ideal client, now is a great time to go back to that, refine it, see how it's changed over time, what's shifted for you. You know, the first piece that I talked about, right? So identifying your ideal client is easy. You know them already. It's important for you to understand who that person is and what their characteristics and features are, in part so that you recognize them, right? Because people are coming into your experience all the time for one reason or another. When your ideal client comes into your experience, you want the little light bulbs to go off, like, ooh, this person. Oh, I really not just enjoy this person. I don't necessarily feel like we're meant to be friends. It's like, I want to help this person. I want to help them create whatever it is that they want. I want to help them solve the problems that they have in their life. So these are great questions coming in. I'm just going to pause and actually respond to a couple because I think that these are really juicy. So Priya wrote, for me, the thing I love most is that they're smart and spiritual. Type A, but also believe in universal intelligence. So by the way, Priya, this language is not only good for you, it's great for copy. It's great to tell people when you're in referral calls. This is a brilliant, 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 brilliant description. I love it. I feel like I know 10 people that are like that right now. Right, so for those of you watching, that's a great example. And we're gonna build on this, but that's a starting point for Priya to know she loves working with smart people, right? Priya, that means that as soon as you get on the call, that's one of the first things, or meet someone, that's one of the first things that you're curious about. Does this person like light me up with their intellect? If so, great, let's keep talking. Maybe we're meant to work together. Michaela, do I need to differentiate between ideal clients, a sponsor or patron versus an ideal audience? This is a really important question. And of course, this call today is focused on ideal client, but the truth is that this is a very, very similar question to any kind of audience, whether it's a one-on-one audience or a benefactor audience or a 20,000 stadium seating audience, right? Who are you here for? That's really the question. Who are you here to help? So let's shift into that next piece, because everything that Priya said is a perfect example of how to begin this process. You're just describing their qualities. Who are they? For me, I like keeping it kind of general, but there are lots of coaches out there and business experts that recommend getting incredibly specific, like age, gender, where they live, who they're married to, like how many kids they have. You can play with that, okay? What I will say here is that anything you aren't clear about, you don't have to be clear about. Be clear about what you are clear about. Don't worry about the rest, okay? That's very important. Be clear about what you're clear about. Don't worry about the rest. You're clear about everything you need to be clear about. This is part of the law of abundance, by the way, right? You know everything you need to know. And whatever it is that you don't know that you will need to know will be given to you. So trust that. The next layer, right? Not just who and why you like them, but what's the problem that they have that you can help them solve? Or what's the edge, the growth edge? That's a little bit more of a growth mindset way of saying it. What's the growth edge that your ideal client is on? Where do they want to grow? Where do they want to expand? Where do they want to improve? Again, for me, my ideal client wants to make multiple 6 figures or 7 figures doing spiritual service. They want to transform people's lives or offer transformational teachings, hold a transformational space, and they want to make massive amounts of money doing it. Some of my clients sell products, most of my clients sell services, but they all have that in common. They have mastery in their work, they have mastery in their gifts, they have mastery in their teaching, and the edge for them is around money, sales, and experiencing money and sales in alignment, in integrity with the rest of their values. So those are the people that inspire me. Those are the people that I love and believe in. Those are the people that I feel most dedicated to helping. Those are the people that I literally feel called to help, right? They're excellent at what they do, and they're like ready to make more impact. And in order to make more impact, they got to make more money. And just again, track back, you can remember my little teacher group and my little spiritual community group, right? That's what they needed. They taught me who my ideal client was. They taught me what I was here for. So look, just like take a moment, look around your current environment. If you're struggling with this, who are you already around that you know you could help? Because whether that specific person is your ideal client or not, they're pointing you in the direction. Is this making sense? Give me a little thumbs up if this is making sense. Their problem or their growth edge or this piece that they're struggling with, this is the next piece that I want you guys to think about. Because you have to be excited to work on that problem, whatever it is. You know, in many ways, when I was working in public schools, the problems that I was excited to solve were school related. They were problems of school systems, school organizations. They were problems of, like, in some ways, national paradigms. And I'm still really interested in this. But at the time, I wanted to work on it within the system. That was how I was doing it. And I loved working on that problem. I loved solving those problems. I loved helping individual teachers improve learning in their classrooms. I learned so much, and I enjoyed every moment of that. Even the moments that sucked, like when I look back on them, I learned so much. And then that shifted, and I was ready to work on some different problems. So, and now, although I love talking about math education, I'm so grateful that I'm here looking at the ocean and talking to you guys. So I believe that this is a really important part of each of your lives, that you be working on the edges that matter most to you. It doesn't matter that the other edges don't matter to you. It just means, like, you're here to focus on these. So again, the problem that I'm solving for my clients, or the problem that I'm helping them find the solution to themselves, is how to bring in the amount of money that they want and need when they want and need it, doing what they love. No sacrifice, no poverty, no trade-offs. That's radical work. I love it, right? I could wake up and talk about money and sales as a spiritual practice every day of the week. In fact, I do. And that's how you want to feel about your work. So what is the problem, Priya, that these type A smart spiritual believers have that you want to help them with? And she just answered, so that's part of why I called on her. She said, the edge for my ideal client where I want to help is the one or two parts of their otherwise pretty good lives that for some reason they can't quite figure out. So for example, the person who has a great job that they love, but they want a relationship. The person with a great relationship who is miserable in their job or has family issues. I mean, raise your hand if you know people like that. Right? We all have areas that we want to work on. So Priya, I love where you're going. And my suggestion to you would actually be, maybe feel into this, if this feels good to you, to actually choose one of those issues that you want to really focus on. Like, which would you rather work with? The person who has a great job that they love but wants a relationship, or the person who has a great relationship and wants to be in love with their job? You don't necessarily have to choose between those two, but I think that yeah, there you go. That's what I thought. There's one. So you want to focus on relationships. That's huge. So now, right, and I can just keep coaching Priya while you guys are here live with us. It's like, what about relationships? What are the kinds of relationship problems? Is it an absence of relationship only, or is it also the kind of relationships that they're in are just not that healthy? Right? Where does that come from? And then this is where you dig deeper into the psychology of your ideal client. And I'm not going to take you through all that today, but I'm just planting seeds that you can go super deep with this. Like, what is their experience around relationships? Where do they struggle? What do they experience when they think about it? Same thing in my business. How do my ideal clients feel about money currently? How do they feel when you show them a budget or a spreadsheet? Right? Where are their blocks? Where do they get stuck? So Priya, great, run with that. Look for those people. Who are the people who, all right. So your ideal client, just to kind of close this segment of the call, when it comes to identifying your ideal client, it's both their features, their qualities, the things that make you fall in love with them as human beings. And it is also their challenges or their growth edge or the place in their life that you want to help them evolve or develop or grow. Thumbs up, good to go, ready to move on. The next piece is about attracting those clients into your business. And hopefully, just from our conversation so far, you're actually getting that to some extent, you've already attracted them, right? They're already in your life. Now, there's more, okay? But I want you to start from the foundation that this is a no-brainer. This is easy for you. You already know these people. They're already in your life. You would literally not have thought to do this work if these people were not already in your life. So trust that. That will shift the whole energy that you have around looking for the people that you're meant to work with, right? Just imagine if you're like, oh, this will never work, I don't know where to find them, right? You're literally sending that message out into the universe, creating evidence that you can't find them. Whereas if you believe that they're here, it's just a matter of identifying who they are. That's a very different experience. So I just invite you to all move through your lives from this moment forth. If you have not already been doing this, and if you have been, take it up a notch in terms of consistency, full-onness, enthusiasm. That your clients are here and here right now. That they're in every room that you go into. They're literally energetically already right next to you. They might be living next door. They might be going to the school that you're in graduate school with. They might have kids at the elementary school where your kids go to school. Right? They are literally right there at the coffee shop where you're about to get coffee. They work out at the gym or the studio that you work out at. Like they're here and they're here right now. You don't have to go on like an Easter egg hunt to find them. It's not magic. You don't have to spend your time wondering, oh my God, where will I ever find them? No, they're here right now. You would not want to help them otherwise. So Priya is already around some fantastic type A, smart, freaking brilliant spiritual people who believe in universal intelligence, have great jobs, are loving what they're doing, but want way more satisfaction in their relationships. Priya, did I just nail that? Can you think of 3 to 10 people in your life that you already know that are like that? And by the way, if they're not already directly in your life, that's not a bad thing either. It means that they're in the lives of the people that are directly in your life, which is why I teach all of my clients to do referral calls. When I say I teach, I really just mean I tell them to do it because it's not a big teaching. Okay, if you know what your service is and you know who you want to offer that service to, which hopefully at this point, 20 minutes into this call, you know, then call literally everyone that you know. Go on to Facebook Messenger and literally call on Facebook everyone that you know, even if you don't know them that well, and tell them, hey, this is what I do. This is the problem that I solve. This is the ideal client that I work with. Do you know anyone like that? Do you know anyone who has that problem? Some of them will say, me. Bam, great. Go into a sales conversation. Talk about your work. See if you can help them. Some of them will say, I do. I like how, let me think about that. And your job in the referral conversation is just to stay with it, like get the referral. So Priya, those are your ripe ideal clients. Get in touch with them. You can even get off this call. It's that worthwhile. Take action, make that happen. So filling your business with people you love to work with first requires that you know who the frick they are, right? And that's one, which we talked about already. 2, that you are holding this space, believing that they are here, believing that they're coming, believing that they're in your field, that they know you or they know someone who knows you. So that when you look for them, it's not a hair pulling kind of like, I don't know where they are. It's like, I wonder where they are. I know they're here. I wonder where they are. Let's look. Let's go find them, right? It's a totally different energy that's playful and fun and generous, okay? Stay focused on that problem or challenge or growth edge. Ooh, look what I did to my hair. So you want to just keep your eye on the ball. That's one of the things that I think people struggle with in the beginning of their business, and sometimes even later on, is that they forget, because they just love people, they're generous, they could help with so many things, and they forget, oh, actually, I really want to focus on this one problem. So just as an example, like when I moved to California, I had been running my business for a few months, but I had only recently left public schools because I had a little overlap when I started my business. I was still working in schools. And I came out to California and I met an amazing, amazing, amazing man, a brilliant math educator. He's kind of famous in the math ed world. And he asked me to save this project that he was working on and go to Kauai to help him teach this math workshop. And I knew that it was not what I was doing, but I liked him so much. And come on, Hawaii, you know, I said yes. And I did it, and I don't regret doing it. It was really fun. But it's not the problem that I was really excited to work on anymore. And the whole time I kind of felt that. I felt that like, this is not really where I want to be. I was like so excited, even though I'm living in paradise, even though I'm surrounded by amazing, generous, smart people. This just isn't the problem that I'm most excited about working on. So I just want to like help you really dedicate yourself to that piece that you want to focus on, whatever that is, because that's going to bring you the most life, love, joy, enthusiasm, energy, and that in turn will make you the most impactful. So let's just like time out and look at that for a second, because I don't know if everyone is on the same page about this. The whole concept of martyrdom, which the service-based industry is really based on self-sacrifice in many ways, right? The service industry doesn't get paid enough. Their hours are terrible, right? They overwork consistently. And they do so in the name of service, in the name of love, in the name of helping other people. And it's amazing, but it's out of integrity at the same time, right? Because when they sacrifice, think about any human resources team, pretty much any human resources team. Think about any public school teacher. Think about any healer, right? With their own Reiki healing business or something. If you look at the people that you know in any of those fields, the vast majority, not all, but the vast majority of them are sacrificing themselves, and they are depleted. They're not fully satisfied. They're not taking care of themselves. And it's a little bit like the oxygen mask metaphor from the airplane, right? They haven't put the oxygen mask on themselves. And so they're losing their life energy in order to give it to other people. Sounds really generous, but ultimately they're gonna die sooner, right? They're like literally giving up the life energy that they need to live, to thrive, in order to help someone else. Ultimately, that's codependency, right? That's not actual service. Martyrdom is not service, people. It's you ready? It's selfish and it's manipulation. I didn't know that when I was doing it. That was a hard one for me to accept, but it's true, right? I wanted to be good. I wanted people to like me. I wanted people to think that I was a good person, right? And at the heart of it, not my whole service, but the self-sacrifice part was coming from that. If I just work hard enough, if I just do enough, I will prove that I'm a good person. So I am advocating that you totally renounce that whole concept. You are a human being. You have qualities that are amazing, and you have qualities that you're working to develop. You have things that are imperfect because they're growing. You're always growing. And it's not about being good. It's not about being bad. There is no good or bad. Still chewing on that one, but I want you to like feel into that. There is no good or bad. We're all just here doing the best job that we can. So put the oxygen mask on yourself today. Renounce martyrdom. Renounce self-sacrifice. One of the best ways to do this is with money. This is why, really, it's like, I love talking about money. I love talking about sales. But underneath my message, it's actually less about money and sales and more about this wholesome integrity that you do not have to give up anything in order to be of service. You just have to be of service. Help people with the problems that you want to work on. That's it. It's so simple, right? It's deceptively simple. So let me know if you feel me. Is this all making sense? Is this pushing any buttons? Anything coming up? what's fun about this is it's actually a perfect segue into thinking about deal breakers, which if you read the email that we sent out promoting this, you might have seen that. This is a piece that I don't often hear people talk about when they talk about ideal clients. It's kind of looking at the opposite, right? If you know, again, let's use Priya, her ideal client is type A, smart, spiritual, and really loves their job, but isn't quite satisfied in the realm of relationships. So that person is who she's looking for. She's like, that's pretty descriptive. She knows how to recognize them now. They know how to recognize themselves when she makes some beautiful marketing copy or whatever. And now the next step is for her to be really clear about what would be a deal breaker for her. So let's say she finds a person who seems to fit that description, but they don't have this other piece. And you will just, as you do your work, you'll just discover this. One of the things that I learned pretty early on was that I'm not particularly good at working with people with mental health issues because I'm not a therapist. Like, that's not my expertise. I have a tremendous amount of compassion and love for all people, but my mastery is kind of lost on people that are struggling with like severe depression or any other kind of mental struggle. So that's something that I have learned through my work experience is what I would call a deal breaker. And it's got nothing to do with judgment. It's just about discernment. Like, I'm not actually the best person for you. If the biggest problem in your life isn't just money, it's like being able to get things done ever at all, or get out of bed in the morning, then there's something else for you. That's my clarity. And then it just makes things really clean. It helps me pre-select the people that are going to be a really good match to work with me, and the people that are going to struggle. And it might end up wasting their time, money, energy, and I won't actually enjoy it. Because again, it is so essential that I enjoy my work. Because when I enjoy my work, then I am at my highest level of excellence. In other words, when I am not martyring myself, when I am not self-sacrificing, when I am living in surplus, there's more than enough oxygen for me, then no problem, take my oxygen. I got you. There's enough for all of us. Right? I got my face mask on. I'll put this one on you. No problem. Hi, Ronnie. Hi, Michaela. Okay, great. So just feel into this. We're talking about 3 things now. We brought in a couple of different little threads that we're braiding together. So the first is your clarity about your ideal client and the problem that you would love to focus on, right? That focuses you, that gives you direction, that helps you orient yourself. It's like putting a destination into a Google Maps instead of just randomly driving around. There's nothing wrong with randomly driving around, but if you're running a business, you want to have a direction. So your ideal client both reflects to you your direction and helps you stay in alignment with that direction. So that's the first piece. Second piece that we're bringing in is really prioritizing doing what you love, focusing on what you love, and not including self-sacrifice, renouncing self-sacrifice. Just a little side note there, because renunciation is a spiritual practice, a very valuable one. I would say that this is another layer of renunciation. Renouncing self-sacrifice is itself a kind of renunciation. So if you've never slept on a floor and you feel called to do that, you can of course do that. But I'm inviting you to renounce self-attack. I'm inviting you to renounce putting yourself below others. I'm inviting you to renounce making yourself less than. Not at the expense of everyone, but in fact for the win-win-win-win-win. That there's more than enough for all of us. And therefore, why would you ever give up anything that you didn't want to? Right? This is the law of abundance in action. That's the truth, is claiming for yourself everything that you want, because there's literally no reason for you not to. There's no reason for you to give anything up for somebody else. Okay, so you got your directionality, your ideal client, you're very focused and clear about what you want to focus on. You're not going to martyr yourself. You're not going to focus on things that you don't want to, right? So you're kind of like clearing this whole side of the room so you can stay focused on this thing that's right in front of you. And then this side is the deal breakers, right? So what could a client or a customer do or say that would make them kind of like, oh, I thought this was an ideal client, but I guess not. And actually, some of the people on this call are with me on this. I know some of their deal breakers. So just think for a moment, what's your deal breaker? What is something that would drive you batty if an ideal client or customer did this? And just to throw it out there as an example, my ideal client pays early, right? Whatever their commitment, their financial commitment is, they pay that commitment early or on time. And a deal breaker is that they don't pay for 30 days, right? If they're not paying, then it's out of integrity for me to help them. It's not a big emotional thing, but it's a deal breaker. I won't work with somebody who's not paying. Seems really obvious, but it's actually really important. All of what we're doing is actually helping you focus by clearing these sides, right? We're focusing more and more cleanly and clearly on the direct ideal client and purpose that you have in front of you. Yeah, okay, great. So Ronnie just shared that she experienced this today. This is so fun. Her client was trying to get work from her before paying. She was so surprised because she thought he was her perfect client, and then she saw who he really was. This is a fantastic example. So again, it's not a problem. Maybe somebody wants something for free. Great, they can ask for something for free. They can come to my YouTube Live. It's free every week. Or the YouTube videos are free every week, right? YouTube Live is once a month. So, but this is all free. I got free stuff. Take it. Take it and fucking run with it. Make the most use of this. Go out and make $1 million with what I'm teaching. I would love nothing more. But if somebody hires me, there's a financial component to that. That's very simple. So Ronnie, I'm so proud of you for seeing this and claiming that. That's brilliant. Amazing job. Ooh, I love Priya's too. Mental health issues, right? We're on the same page about that. And by the way, I have other clients whose ideal client has mental health issues. I have one client whose focus is on working with trauma patients who are not getting results from their traditional Western approach. They're not getting the results that they want. They don't want to be on medication. And she has some phenomenal technologies that help these people really heal and up level. So just to be clear, all of the things, I said this at the beginning, but I'm reminding you guys, all the things we're talking about are personal to you. So there's no right or wrong answer here. Whatever it is that you feel truly excited by, that's who you are meant to work with, okay? And so as you notice, like, oh, I'm not so excited about that. Great, not so excited about that. They're not for you. Somebody else is gonna help them. Don't try to help the people that you don't actually want to help, okay? So Priya had a couple more, asking her to guarantee results. This one is really fun. So there are actually lots of entrepreneurs out there who guarantee their results and love to. I don't know for sure, but my guess is that, because I have this too, if I could 100% control every one of my clients, like puppet strings, and make them do exactly what I told them to do, I could guarantee all their results every time. I'm actually really grateful, just like Priya, I'm actually really grateful that I can't do that. I can't control anyone. And therefore, I can't guarantee their results because their results are really based on them. Like if I have a client who's unwilling to make a sales call, well, then I can't help them, right? That's a deal breaker. That's a fun one. Trying to drive a bargain. Yeah, I don't do that. I don't do that either. Those are great. So I'm just sharing these with you because you might get more ideas as people sort of throw this in there. So here's what we've got so far. Feel into this for yourself. Someone who wants something for free, someone who has mental health issues, someone who wants you to guarantee results, someone who's trying to drive a bargain, victims. Ooh, Scott just brought in this good thing. Victims or not wanting to do the inner work. Just tell me what to do. That's powerful. That's super powerful. Hi, Sean. Oh, what a treat that you're here. Overly needy clients. Example, they need hand holding or asking for updates every day. Or clients that send me edits of things I draft. Oh, I love that. This is great. So include this in your visioning, because when you know what you don't want, you know what you do want. So when you list your deal breakers, then that actually helps you get even more refined and specific about who you really do want to work with. So I like calling them deal breakers because then if they happen, you'll recognize them also. It'll help you catch them. But then also, as you recognize the deal breakers, just in theory, you can pivot. You can translate them into more specifics. So just from the list that we talked about, we as a group are valuing people who, I'm pretending that we're one person. We value people who like to pay for value, right? They want to pay for your services. People who are mentally healthy, powerful, know that they're responsible for their own results and are willing to pay you what you're worth, because they know that when they pay you what you're worth, they will experience their own worth. Like it's worth it to them, whatever it is that you're selling. That they are not victims. What's the opposite of a victim? I have my own answer, but I think this is a really good question. What's the opposite of a victim for you guys? I'd love to hear from everybody. And they're willing to do the inner work. They have a sense of independence. They hold their own hands. They communicate, but they're not using communication to attack you, which is interesting. So Ronnie, the attacker as the opposite of the victim? No. Oh, I understand what you're saying. Okay, great. I'm glad this came up. So the victim and the bully or the attacker are part of one dynamic. Oftentimes when people show up as a victim in their life, they have human beings who are their attackers or their bullies in their lives. But really it's life. They feel like life is a bully, right? They feel like life is being done to them. It's very, very painful. I have so much compassion. And I do that probably every day. There's a moment where I'm like, right? Normal, human conditioning. But that's not what I mean, Ronnie. I mean, when you show up with your victim hat on, and then you realize, oh, I'm feeling like a victim, I'm feeling victimized, then what is the solution? It's not to become the attacker, because then you're just perpetuating a victim paradigm. It's a sense of somebody else. What else is the opposite of victim? Give me some other ideas. Let's hear from everybody. I want 15 answers right now. And you can feel it in your bodies too. Hey, Abe, yeah, creators. Yes, I love this flip. This is great. Hero, superhero, look at that. Yeah. Yeah. And again, not a superhero that has to sacrifice themselves. Michaela, we're going in a different direction. Not perpetrator. That's not the opposite. Everybody get this. This is like side tangent, but it's so important. The opposite of victim is not the attacker. That's part of the victim, right? Think about it. You guys have probably all been taught this in some like bullying workshop at some point. Bullies were always victims first, right? It's part of a cycle. So the opposite of victim is creator, hero, superhero, personal responsibility, empowered decision makers, builder. Yes, 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 yes. Freaking brilliant, right? The wisdom of the group mind is so powerful. Fantastic, Abe. It's all you. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And Scott just dropped this in. The opposite of the victim is they take responsibility for their results. They're willing to make changes in themselves, and they're not blaming others. Yes. And Ronnie just claimed this, the superhero that doesn't sacrifice themselves, right? This came through. That's very important. You guys are doing so great with this. Committed, responsible, willingness to be uncomfortable. Okay, so back to the content, and then I'll just open it up for full-on questions for the rest of the hour. You've got your direction. You've got your, what are those things called? Like the metal fences on the edge of the highway, or maybe even better yet, the little bumpers that keep you from driving off onto the, I have no language right now for this metaphor, but that keep you driving in your lane, right? You can even think about your deal breakers, not even as physical metaphors, but just the paint lines, right? Because you guys are good at driving in the lines. Stay in your own freaking lane. Stay in your own lane. Figure out what your lane is and then drive in it all the way. All the way. There's literally never any reason for you to get off. You know who you are here to help. You knew it before you even got on this call. You know it even more consciously now. Live it, claim it, love it, devote your whole life to it from a place of surplus because you love it, right? Like right here, I just felt it as a group, like devote your life to ... And you guys immediately go into a little self-sacrifice. No, devote your life to having exactly what you motherfucking want. Devote your life to having it all. Devote your life to claiming it all. Devote your life to loving every moment of it. No compromise, no mediocrity, no self-sacrifice ever. Deal breaker. I won't go there. Devote yourselves to that. Being the superhero who, where did it go? The superhero that doesn't sacrifice yourself. Because that's who you are. You are superheroes. You are magnificent creators. Everything that you want is already here. Your job is just opening your eyes more and more to seeing what's already here. So use your deal breakers as guardrails, right? Helping you focus. And claim them. All right. Opening up for questions. We got about 10 more minutes. And by the way, at the very end of this call, I'm going to share a little free giveaway for a tool that will help you integrate this whole call and everything that we've talked about. So stay with us. Ask your questions. I'm here to answer anything at all about these ideal clients, calling in your ideal client, attracting, getting clearer about who your ideal client is. What questions do you have? And then at the end of the call, I'll give away the amazing tool that we created just for this. It's so beautiful. And while I'm waiting for the questions, just major shout out to Ronnie and Priya and Scott and Sean and Abe and Michaela and Maddie for being here. You guys are amazing. I'm so, so happy that we spent this time together today. And again, while waiting for the next question, just please, 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 if you found this helpful, share the link to the video. We're working to build the channel, right? I want to get it like 10 times it in the next month because I think this content is so valuable. And I want, right, the long-term vision for the channel is quite big. That we're spreading this work of mindset to young people that don't necessarily run in this circle, that have access to this content. So want to build the channel from that big service standpoint. So I'd love your help. Like the channel, subscribe. Next week we'll be sending out another shorter scripted video, short teaching, and we'll do that for most of the weeks. But every month now we'll have a YouTube live just like this, focused on a particular topic that you guys have asked for support around, with Q&A at the end. Very interactive. Thanks, Abe. So yeah, what does it look like for you guys to be superheroes without sacrificing yourselves? Yeah, Michaela just shared that identifying her deal breakers is super powerful. It makes her feel more empowered. That's why it's so important. Clarity is the sexiest, most powerful thing. I don't think there's anything better. It's so delicious. And it's always available. You already know everything you need to know. And anytime you actually need more clarity, the way that that clarity comes is through contrast. So it's come up a couple times in the call, so maybe that's the direction that we're meant to go. When you know what you don't want, immediately it clarifies what you do want. And it's like, you know, if you look back here at this wall behind me, it's just white. There's no contrast on the wall. And as a result, you can't distinguish between this point on the wall and that point over there or this point over here. They all blend together. There's nothing wrong with that. But if I wanted to illustrate something to you using this wall, it would be hard to do that because you can't tell the difference between one part and another. As soon as you put a marker on that wall, immediately that creates contrast. So when you have an experience of something that you don't enjoy, right? When you have a sales conversation with someone that you don't enjoy, or when you actually have someone hire you or buy your product that you don't enjoy working with, that's not a bad thing. It's a lesson. It's information for you. Oh, I don't actually enjoy working with this kind of person. Okay, great. Now I know. Because I didn't know before. I just wasn't that clear. I wasn't that thoughtful. Side note, it's a different thing if you are saying yes consistently to people that you don't enjoy working with. Right? If you know that you don't enjoy working with this kind of person and you are still saying yes, then that's a different thing. And then I invite you to call me. Then we need to talk. So, but for most people, once you're actually clear, this is who I love to work with. This is the problem that I love to work on. This is how I want to show up in that work. This is how I want to experience myself in that work. And these are the things that I will not tolerate. These are the things that I'm not interested in. Then most of the time that clears out all the gunk and you're able to very quickly identify and call in the people that are here for you. Any other questions? Who I want to work with and who I don't want to work with are the left and right sides of guardrails. And they set up my screening and filtering criteria during sales calls. That's super interesting. Yeah, I like that. I think that works. That's a little different than the way that I was describing it, but I actually think that that's super clear. You could also think of it as like the destination is your, but you know what? I'm just gonna stick with that like, let's go with Michaela's version. So the destination is the life you want to live, the experience of yourself that you want to have. And you use the deal breakers on this side to keep you focused there. And you use your ideal clients maybe to keep you focused here. We'll see. That could work. Yeah. Ronnie just shared that she never thought about deal breakers. She just focused on what she wants. They're both so important, right? It's just another clarifying tool. And just to name it, right, because especially in the spiritual communities, there's a lot of teaching around focusing on what you want, focusing on the positive aspects, like not really looking a lot at what's negative, because then you just attract more of that. And I just want to clarify that what we're doing here is using our boundaries. We're talking about boundaries, not negative. I don't judge someone, or at least I hope I don't judge someone just because they don't want what I want to focus on. That's fine. Not everybody's going to want to work with me on building multiple 6- and 7-figure businesses. This is definitely not for everyone. Ooh, let's talk about that for a minute. Polarization is very important. This is an important principle that I'm just going to throw in here to connect the dots a little bit. Because when you allow yourself to claim, so like in the beginning of the call, Priya claimed something that she hadn't before, that she wants to focus on relationships. As soon as she does that, a bunch of people that might have thought that they wanted to work with her, or that she might have thought she wanted to work with, will fall away. Because she wants to focus on relationships. But that's a good thing, right? You want to be magnetic. You cannot attract the people that truly want to work with you and that you truly want to work with if you're not simultaneously repelling, not necessarily emotionally, but just magnetically, energetically repelling the people that you don't want to work with, that do not want to work on the project that you want to work on. So this is a very important piece. That's why I'm talking about the deal breakers. It's not to focus on the negative, it's to amplify that polarity. I have decided to open myself and be grateful for my ideal clients. I'm just trying to figure out how to put myself in front of them. Yeah, Sean, it's an energetic thing. So much of it is an energetic thing. So, you know, I don't know enough about your work to speak to this maybe, but I'm curious if the referral call would work or if that's too much. But you want to let yourself be visible, right? Put yourself out there, whether it's on Facebook Live or calling everyone you know, or writing articles for Entrepreneur Magazine or whatever, to share your expertise and mastery so that people know that you do what you do. That's in terms of action. And then on the inside, recognizing, I know that my people are here. I wouldn't want to work with my people if they weren't here. I know they're here. These people are here for me. I'm ready for them. Let's do this thing. Oh, these people are not my people. Nope, that's a no. That's not negative. No is not negative. No is a boundary. No is powerful. No is clarity. No is contrast. Okay, welcome the no in yourself and in others. There are some times where people get too specific. I had a friend once who wanted to work just with astronauts who were doing, like, I don't know, there was some extra specific thing. And she did actually have the experience of like, this is a little too narrow for me. But I don't know if it was like absolutely too narrow. It was just too narrow for her. So if you find that you're like, oh, now I'm feeling a little suffocated by only focusing on relationships, well, then you can broaden it out again. I don't think you'll feel that way. Relationships is one of the most rich, complex areas that you can possibly work on. So I don't actually think that that's too specific, but if it is, you can open it up again. You guys are doing freaking fantastic. What an amazing call. I am going to put in the link of this call my ideal client worksheet. It's so beautiful. I love it. And so I encourage everyone who watched this video to download that ideal client worksheet. Give yourself some time to fill it out. You could do it in 3 minutes. You could do it in 3 hours, whatever feels good to you. Have fun with it and just let it be a channeling activity that you're literally just naming the things you already know. So if there's any of the questions that are prompted for you to answer that you're like, I don't know, just leave it blank. Okay, it's not like you have to know every single thing. But if it's a play, it'll prompt you to articulate what you do have clarity about. And so I encourage you to do that. That's like the first part of what we talked about today. I think it's a really beautiful tool. So thank you guys so much. You're so amazing. And stay tuned next Wednesday morning, bright and early, for our next video on, my brain just like completely spaced. What is it on? Somebody's going to come and tell me and whisper in my ear. Oh, I'm going to talk about case studies. It's going to be super fun, super, super fun, for the purpose of talking about bold and authentic self-expression and how that can bring in money in your life. So that's the next video. So stay tuned. Again, welcome. If you have not already, sign on for, subscribe to the channel. Click the bell, like everything all the time, and please share your feedback. If ever anything, you want more of something, you want less of something, let us know. You guys are amazing. Thanks so much for being here, and we will see you next week.